Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this 125th IARW-WFLO Convention webinar preview of the entire convention. As you join us today, if you have questions as Corey and I walk through the schedule and the experience that you'll have, please let us know what those are. You can type them in the dialog box at the top right corner of your screen, and we'll receive those and answer those as they come in. We're really excited to share with you the exciting updates that we have to first celebrate the 125th convention and also to share some exciting changes and restructuring of the program. So we'll look at, during the webinar today, why was there a change to the convention format? And then, most important question, what will your experience look like at convention for this year? What should you expect? What plans should you make for the week, and what exciting things that we have in store for you in Las Vegas. So for that, I'll turn it over to Corey Rosenbusch, our President and CEO, to kick us off.
Great. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you all for joining us today. We are very excited to be celebrating 125 years of the association in our annual convention, and we joke a little around here because it's our 125th anniversary, yet it's our first convention, because things are going to definitely look and feel very different to a lot of longtime attendees. So at the suggestion of our leadership, we want to make sure we take time to give you an idea of what you really can expect as you arrive in Vegas and begin to experience the convention, and ensure that you do whatever planning necessary that you can get. I want to begin by just reminding everyone, and in the spirit of you can never communicate too much, it's in terms of why we made some of these adjustments. We have a very powerful event. I mean, almost 50% of all of the IARW warehouse companies are present at the annual convention, and we're excited that that hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, we're on track to break record for number of warehouse attendees. However, of the 750 people that we were getting at convention, only about 150 of them were warehouse attendees. So we were at about a 5-to-1 ratio in terms of warehouse to guests and suppliers. It is still the gathering of top executives and owners, and so as a result, we're going to still see a lot of that very important dialogue and networking and support that occurs at the convention from those top owners and CEOs. So while the Cold Chain Expo will focus more generally on a broader audience with more technical type topics for engineers and general managers and a lot of senior executives that will also attend, this will really be the executive gathering, and so we're excited about being able to create those elements that are more conducive to networking with the owner or the CEO of the company. We also found that in some cases the content, because of the breadth of the audience, was not always on target, and we're real excited and believe we've put together a program that would be really focused on that top executive at one of our IARW companies, and that they're getting those general business and growth perspectives that they need to run their business on a daily basis. So that's a very high level in terms of why some of this change had occurred and why we're evolving the convention to be that top executive experience. And I will tell you that the ratios are very different this year. So it's going to be much closer to a 1-to-1 ratio of warehouse attendees to associates. So those suppliers to the industry that we're very excited about coming, and if there are some of your suppliers that you don't already see on the list, I would still reach out and encourage them to come. They've been historically so focused on a trade show booth. There has been some instances where they didn't necessarily understand that the convention is something they are still welcome to attend, because the truth of the matter is better than ever they're going to have real access to their key customers. So with that, let's jump into the experience and hopefully taste of what you can expect with some of the new schedule and format of convention. And we think the best way to do this really is just to walk through each of the days. For those of you that are not on a board or leadership role, Saturday really is more for a lot of the governance work of the association. So we will have the traditional board meetings of both IARW and WFLO, and then the real program begins that evening. Many of you may know Connie Phipps. Connie has been the longtime director of the IARW insurance program through Lockton, and she retired on December 31st, and we're going to have a reception to honor her years of service to this industry and this association. This will be open to all warehouse attendees and by invitation as well. So we hope you can join us to say thanks to Connie for her contributions. That evening, the boards are going to have a dinner. This is a new feature for the boards. Typically, this was an open evening. One of the concerns that we have, as you will see throughout the entire theme about Vegas, is that it's easy to lose people. So with the new format, we really were trying to create a more intimate setting where people are together and able to find each other and network in smaller, intimate venues. So Vegas isn't exactly matched that format, but this was the place that we had contracted, and in many ways it is special in that it gives us some great ways to celebrate 125 years, but we're going to do a lot of things such as this board dinner to keep the group together as much as possible. We really get into the meat of the program on Sunday. And we started a couple of years ago having a joint board meeting, which we called the State of the Association. And this was not only a time for both of those boards to meet, but we invited the entire membership to come and hear about the key initiatives. And this is going to be a real critical State of the Association this year because we've now begun the new strategic plan for the organization. And we're going to be previewing some of our regulatory initiatives, the new energy excellence program that's being developed, just as a few examples of what will be at that State of the Association program. We'll then transition into a time for specific groups of individuals to sit down and talk about key issues in a facilitated way with each other that are affecting their companies. We are modeling this a little bit off of a suggestion that was brought to us regarding a Vistage type format. So if you know Vistage, it's a chance to get together with 10 to 15 CEOs or people in your same position and talk about issues, things affecting your business. And so we will send invitations and assign the attendees to groups. We've tried to group them according to those that are primary owners of business, those that may not be owners but are the CEOs, and then those that are in a top executive classification. We're also going to have a couple of supplier roundtables as well. These are closed to that particular identity and will be divided according to the alphabet. And we will have a facilitator among your peers that will help lead some of that dialogue. And each of the participants will be asked to contribute to topics that they would like to discuss among the group. So that's going to be really the first major program of the convention we're experimenting with, and one of the opportunities to really increase that dialogue among the companies that are present. We'll take a break at that point and go into a supplier showcase. So a lot of the new ideas that you will see were brought to us by our vendors, our associates who may be exhibiting at the expo but may also find value in the convention. And as we asked, what is it that you would like to get out of the convention, because we still want you there, you'll see some of these ideas. And a few of the exhibitors said, look, it's important that we still have a flag, if you will, a place that people know if they want to come talk to us about an issue or something going on with their product, that they can do that. So during the breaks, if you can imagine kind of a highboy table, people will grab their lunch, their coffee, their breakfast. They can come and kind of belly up to that bar, belly up to that highboy, and have a dialogue with whoever that supplier is. It's really a home base for them to have discussions during some of the breaks, but also we have a breakfast and a lunch scheduled for that as well. And so a few people have already kind of stepped up to say, yes, we need a place to put our flag. So it's not a booth. It's not a place where they will bring a pop-up. It's more of just a home base where people can find them during the breaks. Science to Speak has been very successful with the new format, and I will turn that over to Catherine to talk a little more about what that will look like.
Yeah, so this program will look familiar to you as it was last year. We revamped the format of this program, found a lot of success with that, so you will see those changes continue to be implemented. So there will be 3 presentations by 3 scientists from our Scientific Advisory Council, as well as the roundtable discussions, again, with the Scientific Advisory Council. That's a chance for you to bring your questions, bring your thoughts, your concerns about commodity storage and handling to the scientists, and they can answer those questions in a casual roundtable format. Again, that will be Sunday afternoon following the supplier showcase lunch. And then we really transition back into the evening activities.
Thanks, Catherine. The opening reception will very much so feel like it has in the past. We're going to be really overlooking the strip there on one of the tops of the Cosmopolitan in the pool. So we'll have a first-timers reception for 30 minutes, followed by the opening reception. So if you're listening in, pause and make sure you hear this. This will be your one evening that is open for individual dinners. So if you're looking for a time or somebody to schedule dinner with, the Sunday night after the opening reception is the time to do it. The other 2 evenings will have programmed dinner and social functions. So Sunday evening is your time to schedule your dinners. A new feature, however, this year, again in the theme of trying to keep people together, 2 of the evenings we will be hosting an Afterglow Lounge. And Primus and Kingspan will be hosting this lounge where we will have our own bar where after dinner people can come back and gather and have a central gathering place where they can find one another. We'll have some entertainment, even looking at bringing in a craps table for people to play there in this area, a bit of a lounge, kind of old Las Vegas style decor with some music as well to create that home base for our group to come back with. I think the Cosmopolitan probably has about 7 bars, so we don't want our group to scatter, but we really want to be able to host them in one place where they can see each other, because we all know a lot of the core business happens after hours in these types of venues. So we're appreciative to Primus and Kingspan for putting those on for us. The repeat of that will be on Tuesday night after the 125th celebration that I'll talk about a little bit later. So let's transition into Monday. So Sunday really, that's kind of become the first official, or the first day. Really Monday is the first official sessions in the opening session of the convention. The general sessions this year will actually occur around seated meal functions. So for breakfast, people will come down, they'll be served a plated breakfast where they can join their colleagues at a table. And they will even have the opportunity for some of the suppliers to host tables. So they can reach out to key customers, invite them to one of their VIP tables to be seated. So if you're a warehouse operator on the phone, and we'll be sending out some messaging around this, that those IARW associates that have asked to host a table, a VIP table, are going to be able to access the email list of attendees to invite you to join them. So there'll be some time that morning to have breakfast, to talk one another. There's still often an awful lot of open seating where you can grab who you would like to have breakfast, and then the actual conversations that will take place during that will really allow, again, not only the warehouses to share best practices, but for some of the vendors to have opportunities to discuss things with their key customers. So that will be a new feature this year that a number of companies have already asked to be a part of, creating that kind of more one-on-one business dialogue type of an opportunity. The keynote will also occur during that time, and I'll turn it over to Catherine to tell you more about that program.
Great. So after breakfast at those hosted tables, we'll roll right into the educational programming in that opening general session. Similar to previous general sessions, you'll see some business that will take place of the association, as well as our opening keynote speaker, Jonathan Perlman, who is VP at BuzzFeed and also a former Google executive. We're really excited to have him there this year. And then we will, after the opening general session, transition into a quick refreshment break to visit and network with fellow attendees. And then we roll into the Learning Lounge, which this year will look a little different than we've seen in previous years. There's 3 components to that Learning Lounge. The first being Tech Talks. These are short, quick snippets, presentations about technologies that we're seeing in the industry, what's new, what's innovative. These will be presented by the IARW associate members who've signed on to participate in the Tech Talks this year. The second component of the Learning Lounge is the Global Cold Chain Alliance Next Gen Award Competition. Similar to last year that you saw, we have 3 finalists from around the globe who will be convening in Las Vegas to compete for the Next Gen Award. You'll see their presentations on stage during this Learning Lounge. And finally, the featured presentation for the Learning Lounge is Robert Litton, who is speaking about how economists have changed the world for the better and how we can use economics to impact business decisions. And we're really excited to have his presentation there with us as well. Following the Learning Lounge, we'll roll again into another meal function and general session combined, as Corey mentioned. This will be Monday at noon for our luncheon, and the keynote speaker for the luncheon is Cal Gallagher, who is a political cartoonist at The Economist, very well-known, very popular political cartoonist. So we're really excited to have him speak during lunch, and you'll also maybe get a fun takeaway to take home with you of your own. And then for the afternoon, we'll transition into to Corey here for our one-on-one meetings.
Yeah, so one of the requests that people had was just leaving some space in the program so that they can have time to do some of their own one-on-one business meetings. So we have created a space of time there on that Monday afternoon where people can reach out to one another. We'll have plenty of pop-up meeting arrangements available where people can sit down and have some of those discussions. One of the things that we heard in the feedback regarding a new format is that in the past we've scheduled things so hard there was just never time for people to sit down and have those kind of one-on-one discussions or plan things. And so at the end of the day, we're there to network and help our businesses grow. So we felt like we needed to provide some of that space for that to occur, which will be there on Monday afternoon. The evening is going to bring into the convention what has been traditionally known as the Fraser Party. So Fraser, on the one of the evenings of the convention, has always hosted a large party for many of their customers. We've asked them to make that a formal part of the program and to allow all of our convention attendees to participate. And so we've been partnering with them to secure the link. The link is a new venue there on the Vegas Strip. It's kind of got some very colorful outdoor rooftop decor to it. Right in front of Caesar's Palace, you're practically looking right over the top of the Vegas Strip, and they will be providing dinner that night, as well as some themed entertainment that you can probably imagine with the name Monday Night Fraser Fever. So we're very thankful to Carlos and his team for hosting us that evening. We will be providing bus transfer for everyone over for that networking event. And then that brings us to Monday. I will just quickly say I did skip over. I'll flip back here. Forgive me for going so quickly. We do have a spouse program that morning, so I want to make sure those of you that are bringing your spouse or guests that you know that there is something scheduled. They, of course, are welcome to attend any of the keynote presentations, but that morning we'll also do a special spouse guest tour to the Neon Boneyard, which is all of the Neon Vegas signs, and that will be followed also by a visit to the Mob Museum and the review of the history of the mob and their presence in Las Vegas. So that is the spouse program there on that Monday morning. Tuesday, sorry. Yes, so now we're on to Tuesday. So this says Monday, it's supposed to say Tuesday. So the Tuesday schedule will look somewhat similar to what we've had in the past, with a big exception in the evening. We will begin that morning again with another supplier showcase. time for people to come together. You can grab your breakfast, go stand at a table, talk to some of our partners, go grab coffee, mingle around. So it'll be more of a very informal type of a feel to breakfast that morning and not a seated, plated breakfast over a speaker. Then we will transition into the program that morning called Cool Pioneers.
Our Cool Pioneers are all warehouse members who are doing innovative things in the industry related to technology or talent or cost savings. And we're really excited to bring you these sessions because we hear year after year that the most popular focus sessions is what we had previously called them and at prior conventions. But the most popular ones and the people you want to hear from are your peers. What are they doing? How can you implement things that they're doing in your operation to increase efficiencies or develop talent or save costs? So this Tuesday morning, the Cool Pioneers will have 4 of those sessions running simultaneously where you can actually visit those sessions, learn from your peers, ask questions, and get some great ideas to take home with you. And then the closing general session for Tuesday morning, again, as in previous years, we'll have some IARW and WFLO Association business that happens. We will install the new officers for 2016, 2017, and we will also have our closing keynote speaker, who this year is Juliet Funt, and she represents white space at work, and she's going to share with us some tips and tools to be more productive and get more value out of the work that we do and also out of the time that we have to ourselves. So we're excited to invite Juliet to take the stage with us. And following the closing general session will be the golf tournament.
Yeah, and before we jump to golf, let me just go back because many of you may recognize Juliet's last name. This is Alan Funt's daughter, so she is brings in all of the candid camera footage to her presentation that her father was so famous for all of those years. Just to recap, so you'll notice we have 4 keynote speakers this year, so that's another big change than what we've had in the past from just kind of the 2 bookends that we've done. And we've tried to space them out to cover really 4 key themes that we think our key members would want to hear about. The first speaker on business, who will really focus on how do you grow your business and how do you touch base with your customers or reach out to your customers to help grow the business. So a business speaker. We have an economist that will give us an outlook on the general economy and how to use data to drive business decisions. We have more of a global political speaker who's going to talk about things that are going on in this world and how they affect not only our personal lives but our industry. And then we conclude with kind of a take-home leadership personal development speaker. So we were very intentional in selecting those topics this year, and I think we've got a nice rounded theme to the presentations. So now back to the golf, Catherine. The important part. The Golf Classic will continue to be on the Tuesday afternoon. It is at the Bali High Golf Course, which is right down the street from the hotel, so it's a very quick trip. We will have the scramble format and all the typical competitions on the golf course. And then the big difference this year is that the schedule or the convention will end on Tuesday evening. So this will be the last night. It's a day shorter than what it's been in the past. And this is going to be Viva Las Vegas celebration, where we are going to be celebrating 125 years of IARW and WFLO. And it's going to begin with a networking reception with heavy hors d'oeuvres that will serve as your, or heavy food that will, or with food, heavy hors d'oeuvres that will serve as your meal that evening. And then we will go into the theater, because when you think about Vegas and why you lose people is that they want to run away to a show. So rather than having to have the group run away to a show, we're going to bring a show to the convention. And it's going to be based upon a program that's done over in the Planet Hollywood Resort, the show called V. We're calling it Viva Las Vegas, the variety show. And it will have a number of acts, from danger acts to comedians to magicians, that will help us bring the convention home with the celebration of 125 years. So that will be a great way to end the show. And we will have another Afterglow Lounge that evening as well, following the Vegas show, for people to say their goodbyes and have a final toast with their colleagues. I'd encourage you to take a look at the app. Don't forget to download it and make sure you have your schedule, and take a look at the attendees. And it'll really be your hub to answer all your questions for the convention that week.
Great, and we're wrapping up our convention preview webinar here, so please do ask us any questions that you have in that dialog box on the top right corner. As you're typing those, I will mention that our hotel cutoff date, which was originally this afternoon, has been extended to next Wednesday. Rooms are filling up fast, but we were able to offer that extension. So please do, if you haven't already, make sure that you're registered with us, and also that you have your room booked at the Cosmopolitan by next Wednesday.
So one of the questions just came in was about how everybody is going to learn about some of these changes, because it will look different than what it's been in the past. And obviously we've been doing a lot of electronic communication. We wanted to do this webinar, and this will be available as well. So any of your peers that perhaps you talk to that were not part of this webinar today, we'd encourage you to tell them to come check it out, because we will post this for people to learn about. And as always, they're welcome to email us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So one other question about the expo and vendors, how the expo is shaping up. So I will just briefly say that the Cold Chain Expo in June is really taking off. We've already sold about 80% of the show floor space, and now really focused on attendee acquisitions from all verticals. I know there are some companies that are already signing up anywhere from 30 to 40 of their GMs and engineering teams to come, and they're going to be hosting some of their management meetings in space that we're trying to reserve for them. They're on site. So a lot of our vendors are taking what I would consider their mass of people to that show. But yes, we still want to encourage them to be part of the convention as well. They may not need to bring 3 or 4 people to work a booth, but there will be no better place for them to have that one-on-one FaceTime with the top executive, the owner, the CEO of a company. And so we definitely want them to understand and be welcome to participate in that. And we're doing messaging to those as well, to ensure that those associates, to ensure that they know that they're welcome. Any other questions?
I think that's all we have for today. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, the hotel cutoff date is Wednesday, March 30th, and we look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas. Have a great afternoon.